What's going on, guys? Welcome back to this very special episode here of the Movie Trivia Schmoedown of sorts. I'm Kristian Harloff.
I am Mark Ellis, and yes, we're talking all things Movie Trivia Schmoedown, a quick look at the rankings, and then we give you all the breakdown for the free-for-all.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that so last year, if you guys followed last season, we topped it off with the Schmoedown Spectacular.
Boy, was it.
This is a league right now that is just kind of taken off, and we have so many great moments already, so the competitors are kind of getting a week off here for the most part until we get to the free-for-all.
Roka's huffing and puffing right behind this wall. We can literally hear him.
It is true. It is like an all-star game of sorts, but it counts for a variety of things. Like whoever wins this entire thing will get a shot at the championship. And we are not going to tell you everyone involved in this thing, but there certainly are some heavy hitters.
It's going to help out the competitors who are lucky enough to prevail in the free-for-all. But best of all, for you, the home viewer, it's going to be entertainment that is bargain basement prices. You're going to love what happens.
And we'll tell you everything, how it's going to work, the rules, all that stuff, and some people that are competing in just a second. But the other thing that we get all the time is rankings. What are the top rankings? How do you know where someone stands right now, whether it's teams or singles? We're going to let you know all that stuff. And we're actually going to start here with the Inner Geekdom division. There are only 8 competitors right now in the rankings, and it's all going to change because it's a very, very young league.
Very young, but the fans have really taken to it, as well as everybody here at the office. The Inner Geekdom is one of the most talked about topics here at our pre-production meetings, post-production, when we're drinking across the street at Yard House, which is yet to actually be in operation.
All right, so here we go. Here are the top 8 ranked contenders in the Inner Geekdom division. There is your champion. He is the Nightmare, Hector Navarro, who is ruling the division at the moment. Coming at number 8, probably won't be in there for very long. Didn't score any points in his last match.
No points!
No points. Hal Rudnick is in this thing only because there's no one else in it. And he will say it himself that he is probably better suited for the singles division, but he has competed, and the league is young enough, so he's ranked number 8.
Well, you know the way he's going to say it, too. Bye-bye. Hey, we love you,
yeah.
Hal. We hope you kick ass in a future Inner Geekdom.
Someone who I don't think is going to have that same fate, I think will be competing again, is Michelle Boyd, who did fairly decent for her debut. Also, Ashley Robinson, who did very well in the Schmoedown Spectacular, and I would like to see her compete again.
Fierce competitors, both of them.
John Campia competing this week at Star Wars Celebration, and he will be going in a 3-way triple threat match for a championship, the Star Wars Championship.
Make sure when you say that, you say triple threat first, then 3-way.
Right.
The other way around can confuse some viewers.
I realized it when I said that. All right, number 4, very shocked that this person is number 4 and not number 1, and that's Jason Inman.
He certainly is one of the biggest talkers that we've ever had in any Schmoedown, and in the Inner Geekdom, he keeps wanting to get on the mic. Once he does, he plays well, just hasn't done enough to get a belt quite yet.
Number 3, hello, newcomer. How about a early candidate for Rookie of the Year? Rachel Cushing, the Crusher, is at number 3, who almost won the Fatal 5-Way that we just had.
Yeah, Rachel Cushing, both in teams, which we're going to find out here in a little bit, but when she's representing just herself and her brand, she knows geek stuff. She's steeped in the lore of all the categories. She's somebody to look out for.
And number 2 is the Joker, Jeremy Johns, who won that Fatal 5-Way, beating both Rachel Cushing and Jason Inman in the final 3 there, and he will be going up against the number 1 contender, the former champion, Robert Meyer Burnett. That match is going to be something to watch.
And I'm really impressed with Burnett, how well he's handling not having the belt. I thought maybe he would need to be committed to an asylum for some period of time. He's playing it cool. He's playing collected. And as far as Jeremy Johns go, it's one of the oldest adages that we have. I believe it's in the Bible. Never count out a man who wears Star Wars bed sheets as a cape.
True. All right, well, let's jump down to teams. And I'll tell you right now, the reason we're breaking all these down for you guys is because the implications for titles in the free-for-all. But here we go for the teams. You got those stinking champions. There they are, the Patriots. They are, they're just so much fun. They're fun to boo. 4-0, 2 KOs, and they don't do much to warrant cheers. So here we go. Number 10, you got the rookies, Team Action. You have both Ben and Andrew, who had a nice little debut against the Night Sisters. They're actually facing the number 9 ranked team very soon here in the Nerds Watch. Once again, Rachel Cushing, who had a very strong debut in her match with her teammate, Ken Knapsack.
Now, look, we talk about Rachel Cushing, and obviously we know she's going to bring her A game. Do not sleep on her partner, Ken Knapsack. He played well as a contributory to her greatness in their first matchup. Ken can take a game by storm.
Well, we're going to find out when those two guys compete, or those two teams compete very soon here. Number 8, this is the team I'm thinking the whole league has to look out for. I really do. I'm predicting these guys to be, at one point or another, they keep playing. I'm predicting future champions here.
Is it Team Schmoes you're talking about?
No, we'll talk about us in a second. Okay. This is Team IGN. Both Eric and Jim had a stellar performance, knocking out Nerdist in their debut. They are the real deal, man. Their next appearance is going to be something to look out for. They might have the sophomore jinx like we've seen before, but we'll find out. I think that they're real deal, and I'm saying future champions.
That's right. Team Eigen is very, very well. I don't think they're going to be at 8 for number long. And when you look at the number 7 line, Team Heroes, they can certainly compete, but I don't know they're going to be holding on to 7 in that realm.
Heroes is taking a nice little risk here because they're going up against the number 2 team, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and that is going to catapult them if they win, because that's the beauty of the team league, is that it's still you have teams that are 1-0, 2-1. That one win can catapult you into the top 2 or 3 like that.
A lot like the inner geekdom, we still have a lot of hatchlings that are they going to grow into a Velociraptor, a Brontosaurus, or a Mama T-Rex?
Number 6, a team that is having a great comeback here is the Wolves of Steel, who has a chance to get a title shot very soon. This is exactly what I'm talking about. They are the number 6 team, and they will be playing up against the number 4 team. And once we get to the 4 team, I'll explain kind of all the rules and how that's working. But the Wolves of Steel started out against the loss to Heroes, 0-1. Everyone touted them as the new champions when they first came into the league, and then they lost. Everyone counted them out. Well, they're right back in title contention again.
And you see a lot of teams and a lot of singles players, for that matter, do their laundry in public, so to speak, and get very loud and shout even at each other. That doesn't happen with Wolves of Steel. They handle everything with class, behind closed doors. If they had any chemistry issues, they got those worked out. They seem to be on the right track. But, Kristian, I smell rotten vegetables.
Well, you would be correct if your nose is not broken yet.
It's not carrots, right?
Rotten Tomatoes is the number 5 ranked team, Matt and Gray. They are a very, very strong team, always putting up a good fight. And Matt Atchity is someone, and Gray will say it herself, Gray knows her stuff. But Matt Atchity is the powerhouse of that team. If Atchity has a very strong game, then Rotten Tomatoes you need to look out for. They are 3-2. They will be facing IGN at some point. We just don't have a date locked. Number 4, Team ETC, the team that just won't go away. They keep popping up there. They were supposed to lose to Tough Beats. They didn't. They were supposed to lose to Mance and Alicia Malone back in the day. They didn't. Well, they have a shot. They are playing against Wolves of Steel, and this is how it's going to work. If you watch the Comic-Con panel, not Comic-Con, excuse me, the WonderCon panel, the Patriots, doing what the Patriots do, they went against the crowd. The crowd wanted them to play against top 10 for their next title defense. The Patriots said, nope, we're going to play the winner of ETC and Wolves of Steel. And the winner of that will have a shot at the Patriots. So that's going to be your whoever wins that match, those are your next title contenders.
That's right. A lot of information right there. The bottom line is that I think ETC and Wolves of Steel is a sneaky good matchup. Wolves of Steel loses that, and maybe there's some soul searching that goes on, but if they win it, they're actually beating a team ranked ahead of them. Yeah. They continue their march to the title. And hearing the news that Team Patriots wasn't able to win over the crowd at WonderCon is the least shocking thing I've ever heard. They are monsters that should be booed by everybody they come into contact with.
Well, this one's going to be a little painful to talk about. This is the number 3 team. That would be myself and Mark Ellis.
Not painful for me. I always love talking about Team Schmoes, Kristian. What's new in our world?
Well, the fact is, the way that we had the game, it certainly looked like we were going to be 5-1, and that we indeed would be the ones who was getting the shot at the Patriots.
I never assume answering questions right, especially when they involve Nickelback.
We had a rough go at it. We lost to those stinking top 10 guys again, and because of it, we sit at number 3. We're taking a little bit of a break now. We don't have a match lined up right now. I had a chance to compete in teams because you weren't available.
I was watching you team up with Roca, a guy that I've beaten by myself.
I'm still taking showers.
You guys really, really enjoyed yourselves. I know you guys were going at each other as much as you were your opponents, but because your opponents were Andy and Dan, you guys both really wanted that win, and it was fun to watch.
Number 2, Team Trek, Scott Mance, Jason Inman, a team that has been very strong and almost won the titles in sudden death. Yeah. They just had it, almost beating the Patriots, but they didn't, and they are going to be playing against Team Heroes. Now, if Team Trek can win this, they will be 4-1. Also, a chance to get a title shot between Team Trek and then our number 1 contenders, top 10, 5-2, the former champions, will get a shot at the Patriots, by the way. They are just going to be playing them at the Collider Collision, which is our other big event that is coming up in July. That's when the next time we're going to see them. That's why I think some of the fans were upset, because you don't get to see top 10 in action. But at that time, Team Trek could be 4-1. Wolves of Steel could be the champions at that point. Heroes could be 3-1. There's so much happening in the team division right now. It's heating up.
That's right. I mean, when you look at Team Top 10, I've called them a lot of names over the years, and I will continue to do so, but I will also say they are worthy of being the number 1 contender slot. They've worn the belt. We've worn the belt. Team Patriots currently has the belt, so the only one in that top 3 that hasn't yet is Team Trek. And if Mance and Inman can both get on the same page at the same game,
which they have been doing,
are forces to be reckoned with.
it's all about that heroes match because I know the fans will be screaming for Czech to get another shot if they win that match. So keep your eyes peeled, and that's coming up pretty soon. All right, lastly, before we get into the free-for-all special, we have the singles rankings, which is led by the champion, my former teammate, the outlaw John Rocco, who stands at 6-2. He is the champion. He accomplished his dream. There he is, from Bespin to Destined. He is now the champion. Now, this goes exactly the opposite. The singles league has been full force. A lot of matches, a lot of victories. There's some people that are not on this list that you might think should be on this list, but here are the top 10 rankings. Sam Levine at 3-3. He does not have a match scheduled right now, so Sam is kind of waiting for a match for sure. Number 9, someone who was in title contention but couldn't get that win against Jeff Snyder. That is the wild man, Josh McCouga. He is now 6-6 as he stands at number 9. 8 and 7 are two guys we're going to see a lot of. You got number 9, Drew McWeeny, who will be playing against Jeff Snyder. That comes up fairly soon, within the next couple of weeks. That's a big one. William Bibiani will be facing myself. As I said in that post-interview with Andy, people had said to me, well, you're going to accept the challenge from Matt Nost? I said, I'll accept a challenge from one of the horsemen who are worthy. And I accepted that challenge, and it was William Bibiani, who has been calling me out. Bibiani is a force to be reckoned with, minus the loss to JTE, and I'm looking forward to playing him.
You're going to have your hands full with the Beast, and for the Beast to have the audacity, or maybe just a bad bit of rabies, to call out the commissioner of the league and want to play against him, that match is going to be definitely one to look at, and do not sleep on the Godfather at all. As far as Josh McCouga goes, you look at that record, and that tells you everything. 6-6, the guy can roll out of bed at 3:30 in the morning, and he is always ready to compete.
I think you can pretty much call him 7-6, because he's got a 5-round match with Tom Dagnino coming up soon, so that's not going to be too much. That's going to be like a nice little victory pill for
if we learn anything in this league,
I know, but
that's why they play the game.
I think those are good Vegas odds. Number 6, you got Mark Ellis, who only reason he had 5-2 has dropped so low is because he just hasn't played for a little bit.
Well, so low is not 6. I mean, that's still a very good ranking. I was number 1 at one time. I am 5-2, and when you look at the records, it's like, why isn't Ellis ranked higher? Look, carrots, you plant some seeds, you wait for them to grow, and when they are of age, they can become baby carrots in competition again.
Number 5, we mentioned the insider Jeff Snyder, who will be playing against Drew McWeeny. It's a little tricky here, a little different. Jeff Snyder, if he wins, will be then 4-2, will have a chance to get in title contention. If Drew McWeeny wins, because of his other, Drew McWeeny is 2-0, by the way, and William Bibiani is 2-1. So if I said 2-1 McWeeny, I'm sorry. But Jeff Snyder, if he wins, could be in title contention. He's had the stronger schedule for sure, as where McWeeny would probably have to have one more victory should he beat Snyder.
And that matchup, that is a Monday night worthy kind of matchup, because don't sleep on Snyder. I know everybody's talking about how great the Godfather is, and he's a really scary opponent. Snyder, 3 knockouts. That's not to be taken lightly.
Clark Wolf, the classy one herself, almost playing for the title right there as she almost beat her teammate, Mark Riley. It was toe-to-toe. I think that prediction for me, too, I wouldn't be surprised if Clark Wolf is the team champion before her next singles match even happens. No match for Clark Wolf yet. Myself, like I mentioned, at the number 3 spot, 5-3. I must say that if I could hold one record in this league, I'm glad that I have the knockout record, because that one, I think it'll be a little tougher to break.
That's right, and you're coming off wins in both teams and in singles. Job well done representing our brand, my man.
I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that it wasn't sweet to not only beat Andy, but to TKO him. That was nice. I know that a lot of people would have liked to see it go into that five question, but
not me.
It was nice. It was nice to have that victory. But like I said, I don't want to just sit back and say, okay, well, I'll go play, whoever. Maybe someone else that comes in. Maybe Cody Hall wants another rematch. I'm not going to do that. Cody hasn't played in a while. It's not fair to Cody. Cody needs to build himself back up. Maybe he can play Nost, because Cody can beat Nost.
Who's Cody?
That's a good call. But Bibiani's a guy that I think deserves a shot. He's never played someone in the top 5 before, so I think that it'll be a good match. Number 2 is Dangerous Dan Murrell. Murrell has not been in. He has not had a match since his loss to Roca. He has not been. There's no word as far as his singles, but we do know he'll be in the free-for-all, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. Number 1 contender, Mark Yodi Riley. And I've seen the comments, why is Mark Riley the number 1 contender when, Dan Murrell was the former champion? But like I said, Dan Murrell hasn't played. Mark Riley has beaten Sam Levine this season. Clark Wolf this season. Look what he's done in the team division already. Mark Riley is the former champion. He is 8-3. That is a record, man.
You want to know the worth of a competitor? Look at the road they traveled to get to where they are. For Mark Riley, it was like Book of Eli. It's just him and his adorable dog by his side, and he is marching through people right now. A deserved spot as the #1 contender, and looking at him going up against Rocha.
For the third time.
I mean, and when you look at this in the greater scheme, and as we get into the free-for-all, we might see a few of these competitors compete in the free-for-all,
right.
and I think that is going to be one of those things that's going to get some of these singles teams that are a little more stagnant, their competitive juices are going to start flowing again. Everybody's going to want to be back in action come summertime.
And obviously the champion, John Rocha, sits on top of the division.
We can still hear him breathing backstage.
He loves being the champion of the division, and he hopes. Well, I've talked to Rocha, and Rocha's thing now, he is the champion. He wants to prove that he is the best of all time. In order to do that, he needs to defend the title at least twice, because that's what Dan Murrell did.
That's right.
So he needs to defend it twice, and he's got to defend it against Riley, and that's coming up in just about a week. Not too far away, the week after the free-for-all. Riley versus Rocha 3 for the belt. It goes down.
Shut up, Rocha. We're filming a vid.
Right, he's back there with Earl. Let's get in there now. Let's talk about the free-for-all. Very excited about this match, and before we even get into it, one of the cool things that I've been noticing online is that there's been reaction videos to the Schmoedown. There's been fans that have been doing reaction videos and checking out exactly what we're doing and watching them react and answering the questions. Has been really fun to watch. One channel in particular, Late to the Party. There are 4 of them that have been really every week, every match, they've been doing them, and they've been so fun to watch. And you and I got together, we talked, we said we should invite these guys out to watch the free-for-all, and I can say that I invited them on Movie Talk. They are coming to the free-for-all. We have some fans, first-time fans, that will be here, and they're going to be doing a video for their channel. So go to Late to the Party. Go check them out, because they do great reaction videos.
Please bring your finest IPAs from whatever city you hail from.
All right, Mark, let's get into the free-for-all.
Let's do it.
This thing, if you're familiar with the WWE's Royal Rumble, and even if you're not, basically what it is that the Royal Rumble has 30 competitors. They come in, it's every 2 minutes for them, and then you get thrown over the rope. You stay in there. It can be any amount of competitors that are in there, friend versus friend, foe versus foe. Obviously, we couldn't have 30 people in the arena at the same time. So the way that it's going to work is it's all about luck. And I can see the comments already. People are going to say, oh, wait a minute. Maybe if 35 picks it, maybe 35 has it. 35, if you pick 35, you got a good chance to win the whole damn thing.
I mean, you explained to me the way that the Royal Rumble works, and it seems like if you're one of the first competitors in the ring, you're going to be very tired if you keep welcoming people in and they're competing against you. Same way with the free-for-all.
It's a gauntlet.
You're going to have the first 5 numbers starting out on the table. They're going to have to field questions, and those questions are going to be 5 deep. After that, somebody's getting eliminated, and new competitors keep running in. Maybe you get 1 competitor in the next session. Maybe you get 4 new competitors in the next session.
And the way that will work is least amount of points gets eliminated. So let's say it's myself and Mark and Cody and Adam and Dennis.
Who the hell are those people?
Well, that's who's in it, right? Mark and I both get 5 correct, but everyone else gets 3 points. They're all out.
See ya.
But Cody gets 3 and the other get 2. They're all out. And so on and so on and so on. The least amount of points gets eliminated, and then they will be replaced until we get to number 35. There are some competitors in this thing that might be able to, if they draw number 1 or 2, stay all the way to 35. Very, very possible.
There's a daunting challenge.
There's some people in there that maybe couldn't hang at all, but they draw late and have a good chance to win. What are the stakes? What happens if you win? Well, there are a couple options here. You can choose to either play for the singles championship. You can choose to play for the team championship with anyone you choose as your partner. You can choose to play for the inner geekdom championship. And your 4th option, you can give the shot away. So if Rocha wins it, if Rocha decides that he wants to either hold on to that card, if he loses the title, he can challenge for it right away. Or he can decide to say to Bibiani or one of his horsemen, Burnett, here's the title shot. Go get your title back from Hector Navarro. Don't worry about playing Johns. There's so much that can happen in this. And so we'll talk about some of the people that we know that are in this thing.
That's right. I mean, that's when it gets interesting when you talk in terms of gaining a title shot with the win at the free-for-all. Are you going to use that for your singles, for your own gain, or if you are a member of a team that is competing or isn't anywhere near the top rankings, you can use it for that as well. I am bummed I'm not going to be on hand for this event.
Yeah, me too.
And it's one of those things where when we tape matches and I'm out of town, I'm usually texting you right away to see who won or somebody around the studio. I would like to say I can can restrain myself from knowing the events,
and watching
I'm probably going to be on the phone with you as soon as this thing's done.
I will tell you, and I also say that it looks like this is going to be a two-parter, because I would tell you that the entire thing's probably going to run over 2.5 hours.
It's going to be beefy, and it's going to be dramatic.
It'll be a long thing, and we're going to have behind the scenes before the match starts with Emma Fyffe and Jen Sturger talking to a lot of the competitors that are there. Here are some of the competitors that we got right now that we can at least confirm. You got the former champion, #1 contender, Mark Yodi Riley, Mighty Matt Nost, Mark Andraco, Perry Nemiroff, The Beast, the champion, John Roca, Jason Inman, Dangerous, Dan Merle, the Insider, Jeff Snyder, Drew, the Godfather McQueenie, and Miss Movies, Brianne Chandler are some of the contenders that we know are in this thing. Out of these particular contenders, is there anyone in there that you think could win this whole entire thing hands down?
Well, as far as winning the whole thing hands down, McQueenie is a guy that you can never count out, especially because he's arriving at the free-for-all event looking to make a statement in the world of singles, as is Brianne and Jason Inman. So don't count them out of anything. We don't know what the number draw has been yet, but obviously when you got a Mark Yodi Riley, if I had to pick somebody who I think could ride all the way to the title, I'm going to go with Yodi.
You see, I'm going Dan Merle. If Dan Merle picks anywhere between numbers 20 to 35, I think it's a lock. I think that
I wouldn't sleep on him earlier than that either. I mean, he's the guy who can compete and continue to knock people out and maybe get that round where he can rest a little bit if the questions aren't as tough.
True, and I also shouldn't discount the champion also. I mean, sitting down next to him, watching how good he really is, big mouth and all, he's great at the game. He's great at the game, and when he locks in, he's one of the best.
He can play. He almost beat me.
He really can, and I think that same thing, depending on when both Merle and Roca draw, and the same thing with McQueenie. When those guys draw, that's what it's going to take. If they get early, I think that if you're a competitor, you want those guys to pick between 1 and 15, because that's going to be easier for them to get knocked out. I mean, Jeff Snyder's someone else you shouldn't sleep on. I think it's going to be harder for some of the inner geekdom players. I think that, you know, whether it's Hector Navarro or even Jason Inman, those guys, it might be a little tougher to do, but let's see. Maybe they get a chance to choose, and once again, maybe they get lucky and someone like a Drew McWeenie or Jason Inman picks a 34 or 30 or gets the best number, 35.
It really is going to be interesting to see how the prominent members of the Inner Geekdom League so far compete in this, because like you said, as two people who've competed a lot of times in the Movie Trivia Schmoedown, it's all about getting into your comfort zone and making your opponent feel a little bit uncomfortable. So you could have a tough Lord of the Rings question, or a tough Harry Potter question, for all we know, that they actually excel in when a normal competitor might not get there. So they could have an advantage, but I would tend to lean on somebody who's skilled in the singles or team leagues to get the W at the free-for-all, because it's just going to be so competitive, question after question.
You're going to see some fun matchups that you never thought you'd see before. It's basically fatal five-ways a lot of the time throughout the entire opportunity. You might see a chance to, you might see Roca and Merle go at it again. You might see Roca and the Beast go at it. I mean, you might see Nost and Roca go at it. I mean, there's so much potential there.
There's potential here, but I mean, you're looking at this. This is just a handful of the competitors, because you said there's going to be 35 of these. So as the commissioner,
yes,
I don't want to make you uncomfortable on camera during the shoot. I got to press you a little bit, though. What can you tell us about some of the other competitors? Give us some kernels, my man.
They're all in it.
Man, you are a tough nut to crack.
It's the part of the fun of the free-for-all is I want you guys to be watching. There's certain ones that you know are going to be in it, and when that person comes out, you'll be excited to know, oh, that's a tough number for them to get. But then someone pops out that you didn't know was in it, and then you say, well, wait a minute, that person, I didn't even consider it. And by the same token, there are some competitors in this, there are some competitors that you might think is going to be in it, but will not be in it. Some of your favorite competitors might not actually even be in this thing, so you're waiting for a particular competitor and they don't show up. That is going to happen. Not might. It's going to happen, but in the same thing, you'll be looking and they're like, I didn't have no idea that person could be in this. They could win the whole thing.
It's going to be fun. Make sure that you enjoy it for the sake of entertainment, as well as rooting for your favorite competitor, because a lot of this is going to come down to luck of the draw, whether it's your favorite member of the singles league or a team match that you really like one of those players. It could be a celebrity. It could be Alice Trebek from Jeopardy. We don't know who's going to be walking through that curtain in a scant few days.
Well, there you go, guys. That is the free-for-all preview. You have 35 competitors. The winner gets a shot at any title of their choosing to be determined down the line once the winner chooses. So go ahead and comment. Out of the competitors that we mentioned so far, who do you think has the best shot? Go ahead and tell us exactly what you think. If you're not already subscribed or joined the Movie Trivia Facebook page, you should do that. You want to get updates. You want to get all that stuff about the free-for-all, stats, rankings, fantasy updates, all on the Movie Trivia Schmoedown Facebook page, as well as the Schmoedown Rundown, which you can find on the Schmoes Know podcast channel. It's a nice weekly recap of everything happening in the world of Schmoedown.
Check out the Schmoes Know iTunes feed for that. Make sure you guys subscribe right here. Collider video for all of the latest goings on, as well as the actual matches and the free-for-all. That is Kristian Harloff. My name is Mark Ellis. Thank you guys so much for joining us and continuing to support such a great league. Let us know what matchups you want and tweet those people.
Hey guys, if you like this video, click the thumbs up button. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It'll help you stay up to date with everything we've got going on here at Collider.